Yeah, you never know sometimes, because you're in it, right? So you don't know, you can't look at it and see. And, you never know. I mean, you kind of watch it back and you're like, oh, you always, maybe pick at things you could have done better or, I could have done this. But, I agree with you. I thought it went off great. It was believable. I worked with Lex after that for years, and I love Lex. He was always fun to work with for me. We wrestled many times together. So, it was good. It was definitely successful, and I think Eric was happy, and the results were, nobody knew really, so I think it accomplished what they wanted to.
Yeah,
but you also got to
absolutely.
remember, I was like not a, I'm just taking orders at that point, and trying to do my best to pull this off because I knew it was a big deal. I didn't want to mess it up, but at the same time, I'm just going along with what Hogan, and I think he was the one who was really, had the whole, taking it where he went. I mean, Eric approached me, but I don't know who was kind of masterminding the stuff. And I don't know who it was. Could have been Paul or Nash or all three of them. I don't know.
Yeah, the whole entire thing, I mean, it launched, the quote, the Crow Sting, because still up to that point he was colorful, he was talking, and he was doing the traditional Sting that fans up to 1996 remember so fondly, and for some traditional fans, I mean, we're kind of dying for that Sting to come back, but it launched the Crow Sting, and I'm sure after the first couple of times that you appeared in the more traditional Sting garb, you would kind of don the Crow face paint as well, but I remember the nWo Nitro specifically, where they did the whole elaborate takeover, and you would come out and wrestle in one of the matches. I mean, what was that like to come out? You came out to the Sting music, you had the robe, you had the look down pat, the move set, it was great. What was that like that night during that takeover?
It was fun, actually. It was like a really fun time for me. I mean, I had to study Steve's moves, because I didn't wrestle really that way, but I knew he did the splash, and I knew how to do the the scorpion and the woo and the off the rope brain kind of buster thing. So I kind of watched what he did enough but I had never really really went and practiced it, and I mean, I did maybe down at the power plant or something, wherever I was. I'm sure I went through it a little bit to make sure I knew how to do it. But, I was really going off of what I had seen him do. And I was trying to not mock it a little bit, but, I was just trying to go along with what I had seen him kind of do. So, but it was, like I said, it was fun. I knew we were in the, it's not often you get a chance in the U.S. anyway to be, like the top part of a program, Except, for me, when I was, like I said, not, a top-level guy at that point, and, I mean, really never was in WCW that much, but more in Japan. But, it was a thrill.
Now, when you're doing, the fake Sting, if you will, the nWo Sting gimmick, how do you think, like, the crowd reaction is? Are you getting the reaction you want to get from the crowd at this point?
Well, my reaction was, I wanted them to boo, and to be like, oh, you're an imposter, you're a fake, you're, like and that was kind of the response I wanted. When I threw my arms up or did a woo, instead of them cheering, I wanted them to boo, and it was funny when I went to Japan because they knew the difference between Sting and nWo Sting because, I started going there and working this character. And they're very smart fans in Japan. Some of the best fans in the world, I think, as far as wrestling, because they know everything, and they were very clearly knew, that this is the nWo version of Sting, and they were hoping that him and I would wrestle each other over there. The fans wanted to see that. So, but yeah, the idea was to elicit the negative response, from the fans, which kind of didn't really work because Japan later, I was with Chono and Muda and, we were doing the nWo and the fans were loving it. They liked the bad guys. So, we were, I was a heeling over there. And of course, there was a very successful character there.
Definitely. And I definitely want to get into your time in Japan, but I just first had to just mention War Games 96 because that's kind of what set the whole thing really in motion after the limo attack. Everyone thought Sting, was the bad guy, turned on Luger. Then all of a sudden, Tony Schiavone does a great job selling it too, because when you come out at War Games, he literally sounds like the most depressed guy. He's like, oh, there you go. Things in the NWO. It's over.
Yeah.
Do you remember, finally that night? Because the crowd is kind of shocked, too. They're like,
yeah,
what?
That was, I have to tell you guys, that was probably the most exciting night, in wrestling for me. That, because I remember it very clearly, just the pop, when I came out, and then the whole thing, because it was a big, it was a big event, and like you said, I think everybody, the announcers, the referees, the TV people in the back, I mean, everybody kind of did a really good job at getting this kind of to work. And, I thought it did. The whole, thing in the ring at the end, and it was to me, that was like really one of the best highlights that I had in the business right there that night.